how that game played out on Saturday. And like I mentioned in the opening of the show, it took me a good little bit before I could respond and make any comments on that game. And what I saw from my guys, I did not like. I thought that the offense was stagnant. I thought they made a lot of bad reads on that Toronto defense. A lot of bad reads. Then it looked at times like the team was confused on both ends of the floor, if you will. There were times when it looked like they didn't know who was supposed to shoot the ball or who was the initial player in that offensive set. A lot of things disturbed me about Saturday's game. The one thing that I can take from that I would say is a positive or was a positive, and people will probably disagree with me, and I'm sure some people will, but I think that the fact that they hung tough until the end was good in a small way, because it let you know as a team that we can play with this team. We've just got to sustain it and get over the hump. And then we start to break down the game. I said in my post, if you haven't seen it, go over to Facebook, SportsRap Radio Show, and check the post. It's there. You'll find it, and you'll read what I said. One of the things I mentioned in that post was I mentioned about Kawhi Leonard and Pascal Siakam. I told people about Siakam when people asked me about this series, the potential of this series, even before the Brooklyn series was over. A lot of people asked me, and people were saying, well, what about Kawhi? I said, I'm not, really, for lack of a better word, concerned with Kawhi. I know what that, and I know what that is. I know who he is. I know what he's going to bring. Okay. He ended up with 45 points Saturday on 16 to 23 shooting. Siakam ended up with 29 also on 12 or 15 shooting. Now here's the difference, and what I want people and what I need people to understand about the game of basketball. Pascal Siakam had 29 points for the entire game. He had most of those points in the first quarter, first half. So again, as we have said several times on this show, these guys are not going to shoot like that all the time. Okay, you're going to have games like this. Unfortunately, it was the Sixers came up on the short end of the stick, the bad end of this particular game. But Kawhi Leonard, we all know who Kawhi Leonard is. He is a problem. Okay, what we need to do is we need to contain the rest of the guys. We have enough talent on our roster. And I'm going to talk about the box score in a second, but we have enough talent on our roster. But we have to take advantage of the opportunities that we get. So, and hence I say we got to be detail oriented, very, very much detail oriented tonight in game 2. And we have to make the right reads. We have to focus on definitely making the right reads, and we have to run our offense. Some of the things that I've seen that people have been saying about ways to win and some of the things that we need to do to win this game. They say Simmons should guard Kawhi. They also say Embiid needs more touches in the paint. And they say Zaire Smith should play over Korkmaz. Now, breaking these 3 points down, okay, I'm going to go backwards. I can agree with Zaire Smith playing more than Korkmaz. You may lose a little bit of Korkmaz's shooting the 3, but you have a defender that's more athletic that can do some other things that Korkmaz cannot do. And somebody's probably sitting thinking what I just said and saying, oh, well, they still got Kawhi. I understand. And my reasoning behind this is saying this is you put these guys on the Siakams and the other guys. You have to run different people at Kawhi Leonard. And the best that you can do is make him work for shots. Make shots difficult for him. They can't be as easy as they were on Saturday night, because it's going to be a very short series if they are that easy for him. So you have to run multiple people at him. You have to make his shots difficult. You have to make him work a little bit. Like I said, you can't let him get in a rhythm that early in the game because it's going to be a long night for you. Siakam was just on. Like I said, he had 29 total points for the game, and he ended up with 29 total for the game, but he had most of those points in the first half. So James Ennis played a part in that, in playing defense. You have to put him in the game. You have to find, I'm speaking of Brett Brown, you have to find ways to put Jonathan Simmons in the game. And I say this, and people are probably saying, well, no, he's not going to score. The game is not, well, the object of the game is to score. But there's always the game within the game. You know, JJ was on, but JJ was getting banged up, beat up. Sometimes, like I've said several times before, sometimes you have to sacrifice that shooting and play some guys that are better defenders. Of course, we are missing my guy, Mike Scott. Definitely missing him. Hopefully he can get well soon and he can get into, hopefully tonight, which probably won't happen, but by the time we return home for games 3 and 4, hopefully he can play in one of those, if not both of those games, and give us some kind of spark. Okay? Second point, Embiid with more touches in the paint. Definitely. Now, mind you, Marc Gasol has been previously a defensive player of the year, but he's not that Marc Gasol anymore. Not making light of him. He's okay for them, but he still really has no answer for the skill set of Joel Embiid. Serge Ibaka really has no answer for the skill set of Joel Embiid. He needs to be in the paint. He needs to be punishing these guys down low like he punished the guys from the Nets. Albeit Serge Ibaka and Marc Gasol are upgrades from Jared Dudley, Jared Allen, Ed Harris, and those guys, and Kurucs over in Brooklyn. But he's got to play in the paint. You have to make these guys play defense. You can't have these guys resting on defense, or they may possibly end up having another shooting night like they had on Saturday night, which I don't think is going to happen because they shot 70+% from the floor in that first half, and probably that throughout the whole game. So it's very rare that teams have multiple games shooting like that. It's also very rare that they have back-to-back games shooting like that. So hopefully the Sixers have saw the film, they analyzed the film, they know what they need to do, and they can get back into this series. So like I mentioned, now I'm going to get into this box score. Like I mentioned, Kawhi Leonard is who he is. We know who Kawhi Leonard is, but we have to throw bodies at him. We have to make him work for shots. We have to make shots tough. You have to contest. You're not going to shut him down. He is arguably the best or second best player in the league right now. Okay? Arguably the best two-way player in the league. So you've got to make him play both ends of the floor. And not saying that that's going to make him slack off or whatever, but again, you cannot make it easy and make him comfortable very early in the game. If he builds to that, you would deal with it accordingly. But you can't let him come out the gate feeling like he can do whatever he wants anytime he wants. Bodes for a bad night for you and your compadres if you're playing against that. Okay? Now, Simmons guarding Kawhi, it's a thought. But now, as I say, and I don't like saying it, with Ben Simmons playing the point guard, and people call him the point guard, now you have your point guard chasing around a guy that can do multiple things on offense. It's going to take away from his offense. Even though Ben isn't a jump shooter, but it's going to take away from his offense. I think at stretches of the game, you need to put the ball in Jimmy's hands and let Ben play off the ball, be that slasher, be that post guy. I think you need to put the ball in Jimmy's hands more to let him facilitate and get the right reads and do what he needs to do, what he can do as our closer, okay? Because I'm looking at the box score, and I'm looking at the Sixers box score. And I'm just going to give you the points, and we're going to break this down as we go through. Just giving you the points of our starters. Tobias Harris ended up with 14. JoJo 16. Jimmy 10, Reddick 17, Simmons 14. So ideally, looking back, if this was a regular season game, you wouldn't be too upset or too disturbed with that. Your starting five scored in double figures. You had one double figure scorer off the bench, but you had almost everybody that played off the bench scored at least a bucket. So if this was a regular season game, you would be okay with this. Like I said, your starting five scored double figures. You would be somewhat okay with this. Okay? Tobias Harris had 15 rebounds. Embiid only 8. Jimmy Butler 3. Reddick 2. Simmons 9. Assists, Harris had 6. Embiid 2. Butler 5. Reddick 2. Simmons 3. Now we get into the field goal situation. And I know that what we have on our roster, Joel is our spearhead, our number one, but we have other guys that will contribute. Tobias Harris had 16 shots. Embiid had 18. Reddick shot 13 had 13 attempts. Ben Simmons had 8 attempts. Jimmy Butler 12 attempts. Looking at this, and I made points of reference, I need Ben's shot production to go up. I need Jimmy to get more than 12 shots. And if that means Jimmy getting the ball, opening it up, seeing what he can do one-on-one, if not facilitate, then so be it. Because you have to get back into this series tonight. If you don't get it back into this series tonight, for all intents and purposes, it could be over. Notice I didn't say will. I said it could be over because I have confidence in my guys. I think they're going to win tonight. I think they're going to bounce back and get a game tonight. They lost by 13, which is enough, but not as bad as a 20-some point blowout. You know, it's still a double-digit win. It's just it looked worse than what the score reflects. Okay, now we've got to do more. We've got to be more aggressive. My starters for the Sixers, as far as free throws, Tobias Harris 0 of 0, Joel Embiid 5 of 6, Jimmy Butler 2 of 4, Reddick none, Simmons 0 of 1. Way down for Jimmy and JoJo in their free throw attempts. They're usually in double-digit free throw attempts, both of them. We need to get back to that. I like what Ennis did off the bench with his 11 points. You know, pretty good efficiency, 4 or 5 from the floor, 1 of 2 from three-point land, 50% from the free throw line in 20 minutes. So, with that, the Sixers have to come together and they have to find a way to make other guys beat you. Like I said, you know, the matchups are what they are. And again, like I said, Kawhi Leonard, we all know who he is. It's not, you're not going to shut him down. Like I said in the beginning of this segment, you have to make things difficult for him. You have to challenge shots. You have to make him work a little bit on the offensive end. And then you have to make him work on the defensive end as well. So whoever he's guarding, there will be moments, and there should be moments when you attack him. Just because he's the claw, I understand that. He's still a basketball player. You're still in the object of winning the game. That's your objective. So you have to attack Kawhi Leonard, just like you would attack anybody else. Just like they're going to attack JoJo. They're going to attack Ben. You know, they're going to do these things, and Brett Brown needs to instill it in his guys. The guys need to instill it in themselves, and they need to come out and play with some urgency tonight. You know, tonight, 8 p.m., TNT, Sixers, Raptors, Game 2, Eastern Conference semifinals. I'm calling it. I think the Sixers win. Only single digits. I'm not going to give a score, but I think they win. As you see, I am still a fan. I'm wearing my hat today, so I'm still in it. It's one game, people. They still have to win 3 more. You got to win 4 to win the series. Still a chance. It's always a chance. We just have to make the proper adjustments. And again, like I said, we have to stop the other guys. I'm not worried about Kawhi because Kawhi is who he is. Again, I keep saying it, and people probably saying, well, why does he keep saying it? Because I need to get the point across to people, and you need to understand that you have certain players where there's little that you can do to shut them down unless they shut themselves down. So guys got to buck up, bottle down, get into it, and be aggressive on the offensive end and be diligent in their film work and be able to make the right reads on the defensive end, as far as the defensive end for Toronto tonight. I'm looking for a Sixers win tonight, even the series at 1-1, coming home and get another win. Now, I might be rushing a little bit, but we're going to stay focused. We're going to stay on track. Tonight, Sixers win. Tight game, but the Sixers get a W. I think they make the adjustments. I think Embiid and Simmons come out aggressive. I think Jimmy comes out more aggressive. And I think Tobias and everybody else is going to be more in tune. And I think Brett makes an adjustment with that lineup. I don't think he should be playing Jonah Bolden. And I agree with some of the points that I mentioned earlier, that I feel like you should try Zaire Smith. More athleticism, better defender than Korkmaz. Take a quick break. It's your boy D. But before I go, you see the cup, you see the mug, SportsRap, personalized mug. You have seen us with SportsRap gear, the shirts, and all of that. All provided by I Make It Yours. Underscores in between all of the words. I Make It Yours on Instagram. I Make It Yours 2018 at gmail.com. She can get you hooked up with whatever you need. T-shirts, mugs, whatever you need, she can hook you up. Also, if you're having some trouble organizing your life, you got a planner, but you're having a problem, or you just don't like those little fake stickers or the generic stickers that come with it, the regular car and things of that nature. African Americans, not really prominent, but got somewhere you can go. Instagram, Pretty Brown Planner. She will document things for you, get you organized, get your organizer organized, get your day planner organized. Again, Pretty Brown Planner on Instagram. Also, SportsRap gear or your own gear. I Make It Yours with underscores between all the words on Instagram, or I Make It Yours 2018 at gmail.com. If you need more information, you know how to get a hold of me. But that is a definite shout out to the Mrs. SportsRap, the Mrs. by the way. And again, Pretty Brown Planner on Instagram. I Make It Yours with underscores between all the words on Instagram, or I Make It Yours 2018 at gmail.com. Get all of your personalized stuff. You can get SportsRap stuff. You can get Heat 100 stuff. Like it is, she makes it yours. Whatever you want, she can do. Check her out. Check us out. 12:40, 20 minutes to the end of the show. 20 minutes to the 1 p.m. hour of the day. It's a great Monday. It's a little breezy. I'll be back on the other side in a couple minutes.